Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session of the daily news analysis by SRIRAM'S IAS, where we take up the important articles from the Hindu newspaper and break them down for our understanding from the UPSC examination point of view. So let's start today's discussion by taking the important articles which feature in the newspaper, and let's take the first article for the day. The first article which appears in the newspaper reads, Bangladesh PM favors early solution for the Teesta and other issues. So this article features in the newspaper in the backdrop of the Bangladesh PM Sheikh Hasina visiting India. So she's on her visit to India and she met the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the two sides signed several agreements to the tune of 7 agreements they have signed. So from the examination point of view, we'll look at what the various agreements are and what are the issues that are being talked about between the two countries. So let's first take a look at what agreements did the two parties sign. So the two nations signed 7 memorandum of understanding. So these agreements between countries are also known as memorandums of understanding or MOUs, which include, so first of all is the withdrawal of water from the cross-border Kushiara River. So the first major agreement that the two countries have signed is the Kushiara Water Sharing Agreement. This Kushiara River we have taken up in our earlier sessions, and this became an important river for sharing between the countries India and Bangladesh. So we'll take a deep look at this. Let's take a look at it right now only. Where is the Kushiara River? So the Kushiara River is basically a part of the northeastern India. So it flows from Assam, and through that it enters into Bangladesh. And when we talk about the Kushiara River, it is basically a distributary of the larger Barak River. So what is a tributary? A tributary is that small stream of a river or small river which joins a larger river. That is known as a tributary. But a distributary is that small river which branches out of a large river. That is why the Kushiara River is a distributary of the Barak River, right? And it flows from Assam into Bangladesh. It forms on the India-Bangladesh border as a branch of the Barak River when the Barak separates into the Kushiara, and the other branch is known as Surma River. The waters of the Kushiara pick up tributaries from Manipur, Mizoram and Assam as well. So this is the vital information with respect to the Kushiara River, which becomes very important for us from the prelims examination point of view. Since the river is in focus between two countries, high chances are there for any aspect of the river to be asked in the form of a question in the examination. So the next agreement which has been there is in the cooperation in space technology. India has been advancing a great distance in its space technology innovation, and this is what it will cooperate and share with Bangladesh. Then collaboration on IT systems used by railways in areas such as movement on freight and other aspects. So cooperation on IT systems used by railways. Since Bangladesh is also interested in applying those for its own railways, that would be the collaboration point for both countries. Then there would also be science and technology cooperation, where various aspects of the technologies related to both countries would be shared by India with Bangladesh. Then another agreement is on training of the Bangladesh railway personnel and Bangladeshi judicial officers in India. So this is also a significant agreement that India and Bangladesh have made, wherein training of the Bangladesh railway personnel as well as judicial officers will take place in India. So as we can see, agreements are happening on all kinds of fronts, improving the human personnel, the human productivity of Bangladesh as well, that is happening. And then is the cooperation in broadcasting between Prasar Bharati, which is the Indian body, and the Bangladesh television. So both these bodies will cooperate on the ground of broadcasting. So these are the agreements which were signed between the two countries yesterday. Now another point of agreement which these two leaders unveiled is the first unit of the Maitri Super Thermal Power Project being built in the Khulna division of Bangladesh with concessional funding from India. Now this is an important point to focus because India and Bangladesh are quite connected to each other. They have a 4,000 kilometer long border, which is the highest for India to share with any other country, and which is why the power lines between these two countries are also quite intricate, and they can be connected if both countries cooperate well. And to further in this step, this super thermal power project has been unveiled, which would give boost to the power connectivity between two countries. So that is why this thermal power project is very important. The unit was synchronized with Bangladesh's power grid in August, and the project will generate 1320 megawatt when it is completed. So this is a significant development. Then they also inaugurated the 5.13 kilometer Rupsha rail bridge, a key part of the 64.7 Khulna-Mongla Port broad gauge railway project. So now this railway project, or the Rupsha rail bridge which is constructed, is a part of the major project or the larger project of connecting ports of West Bengal and ports of Bangladesh. So that is why this rail bridge also becomes important. And then the two sides also discussed enhancing cooperation for flood mitigation. This is another area where both countries are coming together, and they have signed an agreement on sharing the data for flood mitigation. Even though they have signed an agreement right now, but the process of sharing data with respect to floods which both countries face, since both are neighboring countries, the situations are quite similar. The northeast faces the kind of floods due to Brahmaputra. Similar floods were faced by Bangladesh as well. And therefore, India has been sharing flood related data with Bangladesh on a real-time basis. And we have also extended the period of data sharing, which is what the Prime Minister has also said. So these are the grounds which India and Bangladesh have cooperated upon and signed the agreements for. And we took a look at them from the examination point of view. So with this, let's move on to our next article for the day. The next article which appears in the newspaper reads, "Limited change in cities under Clean Air Scheme." Now, this article appears as an important discussion on the important scheme of the government known as the National Clean Air Program, or what is called NCAP. This is the National Clean Air Program. This is an important program which was launched by the Union government in its intent to decrease the rising levels of air pollution which is taking place in major cities of the country. So therefore, this particular mission becomes important, this program becomes important, and the article discusses the impact of NCAP, or the National Clean Air Program, from the time that it was inaugurated and up until now, how much progress it has done. So in this backdrop, we'll take a look at the important points with respect to the National Clean Air Program. So this becomes important for us from the point of view of GS3, where we study environment, and GS2, where we have important schemes with respect to dealing with issues of the society and people. So what is this National Clean Air Program? Before we get into its progress report, let's first understand what exactly is the National Clean Air Program. So National Clean Air Program, as the name suggests, is a comprehensive program which the Union government took out to deal with the levels of rising air pollution in the cities. So it was launched by the MOEFCC, or the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, in the month of January 2019, right? So this program is a 3-year-old program. It was the first ever effort in the country to frame a national framework for air quality management with a time-bound reduction target. So since it kept a time-bound reduction target for itself, it becomes important as to what levels of this target was actually achieved. So what is the target? It seeks to cut the concentration of coarse particulate matter of diameter 10 micrometer or less, or what we normally call PM10, and fine particles or particulate matter of diameter 2.5 micrometer or less, what we call PM2.5. We always keep hearing about these pollutants, PM2.5 and PM10. So these are particulate matter which are of particular size. So PM10 has a diameter, those particles have size of diameter less than 10 micrometer, and in PM 2.5 the particles have diameter size less than 2.5 micrometers. So these are the PM 10 and PM 2.5 which are the major one can say the components of the air pollution in the cities. So this program seeks to cut down on their emissions by at least 20% in the next 5 years, with 2017 as the base year for comparison. So the program seeks to cut down on the emissions of PM 10 and PM 2.5 by at least 20% in the next 5 years, and the base year, the comparison with which the pollution levels will be checked, would be the pollution in the year 2017 in the cities. So this is the objective of the National Clean Air Program. And how many cities does it cover? So the plan includes 132 non-attainment cities. Non-attainment cities, what are they? We'll take a look at it. So these 132 cities across 23 states and union territories were identified by the Central Pollution Control Board. This is the body which implements the NCAP under the Ministry of Environment and Forest Change. So Central Pollution Control Board is the nodal body which deals with the implementation of the National Clean Air Program. So this was the cities were also identified by CPCB on the basis of their ambient air quality data between 2011 and 2015. So what are these 132 non-attainment cities? So as the name suggests, non-attainment, which means that those cities which did not attain the standard of air quality. So these are those that have fallen short of the national ambient air quality standards. These are the national standards which enumerate what should be the level of air pollution and what is the healthy level, beyond which if any city is showing in its level of air pollution, it would be known as a non-attainment city. And currently the National Clean Air Program has around 132 such cities. Alright, so we took a overlook of what the National Clean Air Program is, what is its meaning to do, and how many such cities are there that it seeks to curb the level of PM 2.5 and PM 10. Now an analysis by an environmental NGO, CSE, or Center for Science and Environment. They are a non-profit organization which deal with analysis of environmental issues, and in its national analysis of the PM 2.5 levels in cities for which data is available, so it could analyze only those cities which did have data available, and it was a shocking fact that only 43 cities, currently we saw 132 cities, so out of them also only 43 cities were considered as they had adequate data to scientifically establish a long-term trend. So that became the first roadblock in analyzing the situation properly, because not all cities even had the data which for which the analysis could be done. Only 43 cities gave out the data, and only 14 out of these 43 cities registered a 10% or more reduction in their PM 2.5 levels between 2019 and 2021. So this suggests that out of the 132 cities that are being taken up under the National Clean Air Program, the data collection for these 132 cities is itself very poor, and only 43 cities could take up the data, and even out of those 43, only 14 cities are showing 10% or more reduction. The target was of 20% reduction under the NCAP, and in that also 14 cities are showing only 10% or more reduction of the PM 2.5 levels. So this data suggests and shows us the dismal situation of governance with respect to lessening the air pollution of the cities. The major cities of India, be that Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, in fact Delhi and Kolkata, in our recent discussion we saw a few weeks back by an international organization which measures the air quality, Delhi and Kolkata were ranked as the first and second in the world's most polluted cities with respect to air pollution. So this is the level of gravity to which these major cities of our country have reached to with respect to air pollution, and the data collected shows that the effort with respect to changing the status and lessening air pollution in the cities is also not going in the positive direction and is not to the level that it should be. This is what the analysis suggests, and it also says that there is hardly any difference between the performance of NCAP and non-NCAP cities. So those cities which are covered under the NCAP or those are not covered under the ACAP, both are showing more or less same performance, and there is hardly any difference between them. So this was a discussion with respect to this article. This article gives us crucial data which we can cite in any of the answers with respect to this particular topic to highlight the gravity of the effort done with respect to lessening of the air pollution. Now with this, let's move on to our next article. The next article which appears in the newspaper reads, Supreme Court asks Punjab Haryana CMs to meet on Satluj Yamuna Link Canal or the SYL canal dispute. Now this particular article throws light on an important concept that we should take up from the examination point of view, which is the Satluj Yamuna Link Canal and the dispute that is related to these both between the states of Punjab and Haryana with respect to this canal. So what can the dispute be? Anywhere we talk about in the country, between two states or two or more states, there are disputes about sharing the waters of the river that pass between them. So there are inter-river water disputes, and this particular dispute is related to a canal which was supposed to be built to join the rivers of Satluj and Yamuna. So the water between Satluj, the waters of Satluj and Yamuna were supposed to be connected via a canal, and which is this became the backdrop on which both states are now disagreeing with, and therefore they are in the dispute on this canal. So let's take a look at what exactly is the Satluj Yamuna canal dispute, what are the two states contending, and also some of the important points with respect to rivers Satluj and Yamuna. So what is this dispute? First of all, this Satluj Yamuna dispute or the project of linking Satluj and Yamuna with a canal is a very old one, right from the time where Punjab was established in 1966. This threw up the problem of giving Haryana its share of the river waters. Punjab was opposed to sharing waters of the Ravi and Beas with Haryana, citing riparian principles and arguing that it had no water to spare. This became Punjab's main contention for not sharing the water of Satluj or river Ravi and Beas, because it said that due to increasing agriculture and sowing of the water intensive crops, which we know that Punjab has the great percentage of sowing paddy and rice, right? So due to this, Punjab contends that it has already depleted a lot of its water resource, and that is why it is not in a position to share the water with Haryana. And Haryana has a lot of regions which are in need of water, and that is why it needs water, and therefore both states are in conflict with this canal. So that this dispute is quite old, and what has happened, which the article also suggests, is that currently both governments or one can say the Haryana government wants that the canal should be executed and it should be constructed in quickest amount of time, and Punjab is disagreeing with it, to which the Supreme Court has said that both states should come on to the negotiating table and figure out a way to sort of clear this dispute, resolve this dispute, and make way for the quick execution of the construction of the Satluj Yamuna link canal. So what is this canal? This is to enable Haryana to use its share of the waters of the Satluj and its tributary Beas. A canal linking the Satluj with the Yamuna cutting across the state was planned, and a tripartite agreement was also negotiated between Punjab, Haryana and the Rajasthan in this regard, because some water or some aspect of the water was also being shared by the Rajasthan state. Then the Satluj Yamuna link canal is a proposed 214 kilometer long canal to connect the Satluj and Yamuna rivers. However, the proposal met obstacles and was referred to the Supreme Court as we saw the development. Now let's look at the canal, how it goes. This is the Satluj river which passes from Himachal Pradesh and Punjab, and this is the river Yamuna which flows downwards, and this is the canal which is supposed to join the two rivers. This is the Yamuna Satluj Link Canal, which is a 214-kilometer long canal. Now, what are both states saying? Punjab's demands are, as we saw, its main contention is that it itself has depleting water resources. Many areas in Punjab may go dry after 2029. This is what the state is contending. And state has already overexploited its groundwater for irrigation purposes as it fills granaries of the center by growing wheat and paddy worth rupees 70,000 crore every year. And as per reports, water in about 79% of the state's area is overexploited. Then in such a situation, the government says that sharing water with any other state is impossible. This is what Punjab's stand is. And what is Haryana saying? Haryana has been seeking the completion of the Satluj Yamuna Link Canal to get its share of 3.5 million acre feet of the river waters. And it has maintained that Punjab should comply with the 2002 and 2004 Supreme Court orders in this regard. Haryana is getting 1.62 million acre feet of the Ravi Bias waters currently, and it wants to receive the additional share of its waters from the Satluj Yamuna Link Canal. So this is where the dispute stands between both states right now, and currently the Supreme Court has ordered a speedy resolution of this dispute between the two states and ordered Punjab government to come on the negotiating table and execute a favorable agreement for both states. Now let's take a look at both the rivers, Satluj River as well as the Yamuna River. This is the Satluj River. This originates in the southwestern area of Tibet, then enters into India from the state of Himachal Pradesh, and then finally flows in the states of Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and then finally merges into the Harike River in Pakistan, right? So this is the course of Satluj River, and Satluj River is also the longest tributary of the river Indus. So since it eventually joins the Indus River, it is a tributary of the Indus River, that too the longest tributary of the Indus River. All the rivers, River Beas, Ravi, Chenab, Jhelum are the tributaries of Indus River. These are the major tributaries, and these 5 rivers give Punjab its name, the land of 5 rivers. Now let's come to Yamuna River. Yamuna River, as we know, rises in the Yamunotri Glacier in Uttarakhand and then flows southwards from Haryana, Uttarakhand to New Delhi, and then finally enters into UP and then merges with Ganga in the Sangam with Yamuna and Ganga known as Prayagraj, which was earlier known as Allahabad. So this Yamuna merges with Ganga at this place, and Yamuna has various tributaries such as Chambal, Sindh, Betwa, Banas. These are all the major tributaries of the Yamuna River. So these are the background information with respect to the two rivers which become important for us from the examination point of view. So with this, we finish this article and let's move on to our next article for the day. The next article which appears in the newspaper reads, "Future oil supplies will mostly come from Gulf," says the oil minister. Now, oil minister or the minister of petroleum and natural gas, as the union minister is called, has given out a statement which gives out vital information for us from the examination point of view. Now, what is this context all about? As we are seeing, due to the Russia-Ukraine war, we saw that the prices of the crude oil skyrocketed and the availability of the crude oil also took a hit. But in this backdrop, Europe and other Western nations laid down sanctions on Russia, and due to which the prices of Russian crude oil came down a lot. And this is the situation which India made the use of, and a lot of companies from India bought cheap Russian oil from the suppliers of Russia, which was heavily criticized by the other countries, the European nations and other Western countries, stating that India is not adhering to the sanctions and making use of the situation and buying cheap Russian oil from the Russian oil makers and oil suppliers. But India refuted this allegation and defended its claims by saying that S. Jaishankar also appeared in a conference who said that it is prerogative for India and him to bring the best deal for India. So this was the backdrop that was going on, and in this aspect it was seen that India's imports from Russian oil rose by 4.7 times or more than 4 lakh barrels per day in April to May, but then subsequently started falling in the months of July and August. So these months saw a heavy increase in terms of import of crude oil from Russia, which is where the top 3 countries from which India imports its crude oil now stands at: Iraq, Russia and Saudi Arabia. So which means that the highest supplier of crude oil for India is Iraq, at the second rank is Russia, and at the third place is the country of Saudi Arabia. So this becomes an important information for us which can be asked in the prelims examination, right? So this was the vital information that we could take out from this article, and we finish our discussion today with respect to the important articles of the day, and we'll meet again tomorrow with the important articles from the newspaper. Thank you.